Cowboy Jim, um, check this out. Shadows don't do much for my appearance, but nonetheless, um, was downtown today at my local wonderful drugstore, and I had the privilege and the honor of running into a wonderful character who uh, was from a base mine just to the north here a bit, and he said, "I've seen you there." I said, "Sure." Uh, been buying my Tim Hortons right in the main laydown and all that. I put a shirt on today. Gee whiz! I am a man who actually needs a woman to help kind of keep me on the straight and narrow. And so 2 videos, no shirt on, just my bib coveralls, overalls, whatever. At least if there were a fire, I'd be all right, except for my hair. But anyways, I had such a pleasant time downtown today, and just rumbling all over the place, and talking to some really good characters, and I noticed this wonderful gentleman was buying what is called Metamucil, and I thought, okay, I've considered using that. Except about 40 years ago, one of the brightest doctors that I ever met, oh, say, children, I've met a few doctors in my day. Huh? 60, 70 broken bones from the ongoing debacle between we Irish and gravity. And I lose all the time, so I fall off horses, whatnot. And my doctor, he said, Jim, you want a method whereby you can be about 99.9% sure you'll never get gut related cancer. And I said, sure, you know, I'm open. Hey, I can learn. He said, okay, on your way home, uh, he didn't say on your way home, go to the drugstore. He said, on your way home, go to the grocery store. Go in and buy a box of Kellogg's brand buds with psyllium in it. It's spelled with a P, but it's pronounced psyllium. I looked at him. I said, really? He said, yes. He said, when you get home tonight, before you go to bed, take about 1 inch of the brand buds in a glass of milk. And he said you can add a little flavor to it. And so I use maple syrup. And I've done that for 40 years, almost without missing. Well, except when we were in the mountains hunting on horseback, and well, it's kind of hard to lug a jug of milk and Kellogg's brand buds, but he made some statements that uh, were quite remarkable. You have to understand this was a ranch doctor, uh, an absolutely brilliant man, and so doctors make money from prescriptions. That's the way it is, and it's good. Um, my first father-in-law was a drug. I was going to say a dealer, but he was a pharmacist. And when he was getting near the end of his career, uh, he started to pay more attention to natural remedies and so on like that. And so my doctor said, average person walks around with 20, 25 pounds of, I hope children aren't watching this, unprocessed food in their gut. And he said, you use some due diligence and uh, you won't be carrying anything in your gut at all. And so I've done that, as I say, for 40 or 50 years. And so Kellogg's brand buds. Uh, this isn't going to be an exciting video. You probably know that by now, eh? And but I'll try diligently to tweak your interest. Um, back about 6 years ago, I was working over in Rocky Mountain House, and uh, I was running a loader, rushing gravel on a spoon, or you just wouldn't believe how difficult it was to do deep services on a front end loader, taking care of two hoes, about six, maybe more laborer type people, and and so the super, he kind of looked at me. He said, "I need someone in the bottom of the trench," and I thought, "Hey, I can do it." I had to get out of the loader, of course, thank God. And anyways, I got down there, and two kids came walking over. They had asking me, "Why is a man as old as you still working?" I said, "Well, frankly, I'm a poor money manager trying to save the ranch." That kind of, as long as they could condemn me a little bit, they felt good about themselves, and so I thought that's okay. And they passed me down a 12-inch, really heavy plastic type pipe that was going to be, well, either sewer or water. I think it was water, but I'm not certain. And I grabbed the end of it, and they let her go. And I'm put together in a decent manner, but I think I was about 68 at the time, might have been, well, 69, who knows. And that pipe came down and took my hand into the side of the trench. If they had just let me lower it a bit and get my arms around it, I could have lifted it easy, pretty easy, and gotten it into position and so on. But oh well, they didn't. They didn't even say they were sorry, and it crushed my hand uh, badly. Um, Surgeon, he said, "Well, you're on compensation. You want to just see what 5 or 6 months off work would do?" He said, "It might heal." He said, "Might not." I said, "What's the alternative?" He said, "Well, if you have to work to make a living," he said, "you might consider just cutting it off." And I thought, boy, that's pretty easy for you to say. And I thought about it. I thought, oh, gee. Anyways, I uh, I had the doctor amputate my finger. Dirty, cruel sound, not a good thing, children. And and then I said, "I'm going to work real soon." I think I was back to work in a week, and my finger was really pretty bad. And and but they company I was working for, they gave me a moderated job. That meant I didn't get paid what I normally would. I still had to put the same amount of time in, and so I did. And but about another week or so went by, and they sent me north to Battle Lake, and fingers pretty sore, and I wasn't taking anything for pain because you can't when you're on or near equipment and stuff like that. and I managed to get an infection in the end of my finger. That was terrible. And I asked the super. I said, I'm going to drive myself into Wetaskiwin and see if they can take a look at this finger because the whole end of it was yellow. Okay, not a good thing. And so I hammered my old Dodge into town. It actually ran. Go figure. And I spoke to the surgeon, and he said, he said, I'm booking you into the hospital right now. We're going to get you some antibiotics directly into the vein." And he says, "Well, you might lose your hand." I said, "My brother, uh, I don't like needles. Have you come up with a way of putting antibiotics directly into one's vein without using a needle?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, I'm not doing it." He said, "You'll lose your hand." I said, "I don't think so." But I said, "Tell you what, I'll head back out there to Battle Lake and hook onto my little tiny trailer." Oh, it was cold. Whoa. And I'll hammer south, and then tomorrow morning I'll go to the surgeon who had removed the finger, which incidentally you don't ever want to have anything to do with that, eh? That hurts, and it sounds worse. And so I got back to my ranch. Of course, I lived in the horse barn. It was better than sleeping on the floor in the cabinet shop. And I thought, oh dear Lord, I have to do the stupid dishes. And because I had rushed, I mean, like when they called me to send me back to work, I got there. I mean, in a hurry. And so I soaked the dishes, and I used Dove at the time. I like Dove. I like the blue stuff. And I got a good, a hot sink full of water, and I was watching it for a little bit, and I thought it's it's getting close. And I looked at my finger, and oh, didn't have to worry about eating. You just about really got sick looking at it. It was so terrible. And I thought I'd put a plastic bag on it. And I thought, no, no. They suggested that probably soaking it in something would help. And so I went and I washed my dishes. It wasn't painful. The finger didn't even hurt. I mean, it was getting ready to leave me along with my hand, according to the one doctor. So, anyways, okay, hang in there. This will get better. I'm not necessarily indicating it'll be more interesting, but it may not be that bad, and you might benefit from it. You don't want to do this unless you're desperate. But I had a lot of suds in there from the Dove. I washed the blessed dishes, and I thought, that doesn't hurt. Actually, that's a bad sign, eh? Uh, Next morning, I woke up and there was no infection in the stump of my finger. I mean, it was going. And I mean, looking at it the night before, you would never want to eat food again. I mean, it was just terrible. So people would say, well, what do you suppose happened? Well, the same thing that can happen with Listerine, and that is a product is designated to be used for thus and so, but it actually works 14 other times to Sunday if you're desperate enough to take a shot at it. I recommend going to the doctor strongly. I have had 15 major surgeries that required anesthetic. Uh, Doctors like me. I've contributed to their retirement fund on several occasions. But that Dove dish soap, I like blue, as I mentioned, um, washed away and cleansed a fountain of yellow that was pouring out the end of my finger. Oh, I hope you're not watching this during summer because it's not good. I went to the surgeon the next day. I said, he had gotten the report from the Wetaskiwin doctor, and he said, that doesn't look like it's fallen off. I said, the hand? He said, yeah. I said, did my dishes, used Dove, hot water, just put my hand in it, tried not to bump anything. And I said, look at that. Whoa. Okay, get this. Um, uh, if you occasion to be a rancher, I had a wonderful cousin from Drayton Valley. I said, why is it that a person's toenails get really thick? Always said you just froze them at one time or another. I thought, well, yeah, probably. And I said, that's it? Yeah, he said. And then along comes all these advertisings for nail fungus. Whoa, that doesn't look good, children. And oh, a lot of medications now. Yep, yep. And but a guy told me, um, he said, you know anyone with thick toenails called fungus? I wouldn't admit that even if I wanted to. I mean, that's terrible. But the guy said, Jim, if you have uh, fungal funny stuff growing on your toenails, get yourself a jug of Listerine and soak your feet in Listerine to maybe 3 nights in a row. Well, don't you try this because I said it worked for me. Okay? I mean, what if you use Listerine soaking your feet on into stuff and they fell off? I mean, odds are against it. But that mouthwash has the same cleansing agents within it for bad breath as my toes needed to get rid of that terrible, ugly looking toenail stuff. So I thought, hey, I don't want to introduce more drugs to my body. Hey, don't do drugs. Don't like them. Oh, T3s are pretty good if you just had a surgery. Dear Lord, one time a big German mare kicked me and I was on morphine for 8 days. That was pretty good. 3 days later, my toenails were restored to those of a kid. Unblessed, believable. So I think uh, I'll stop it there. Um, but understand something. A lot of good medications uh, are dual purpose. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to quit there. Haven't done anything wrong yet. I'm not going to, if I can help it. This comes with a warning. You want really good looking toenails? Well, soak them in Listerine if you choose. Might ask your doctor first. Don't take my advice. You You have a terrible infection. Oh, you have no idea how bad my hand looked. It was terrible. I washed the dishes with Dove, healed it right away. Kellogg's brand buds with psyllium. Anyways, y'all have a good night. God bless, and don't you take my advice now, okay? You think about it. You ask your doctor, and ooh, work for me doesn't mean it will for you. Okay, God bless. I sure don't. Fairly polite. I don't look any better. Okay, God bless.